What's up, everybody? Before we get to today's video, I want to mention today's video sponsor, Raycon. Now, I've worked with Raycon in the past. I love their earbuds. I've actually been down to one because I lost one of them, but they're the only earbuds I've actually been able to run with and be comfortable, and they don't always fall out of my ears. So when they reached out to me about working together again, the answer was an obvious yes. With active noise cancellation capable of drowning out the most maddening sounds, Raycon's everyday earbuds are your quieting sidekick for the gym, work, or phone calls, offering premium audio that goes where you go. And their latest model is better than ever, with a 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair two devices at once. Speaking of battery, with Raycon's quick charge function, just 10 minutes of charging yields 90 minutes of battery life. So to check them out, use the link in the description, use promo code superspeedersRob. It's gonna save you 20% off, or there's a QR code on the screen. You can just click that for ease of use. Raycon, you're not gonna regret it. And if you do, 30-day money-back guarantee. They have a happiness guarantee that they know you're gonna like them, so there's no worries there. So give them a shot, you won't regret it. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, back in Vegas. And you remember last time I was here in Vegas, we had that private event and I had a bunch of cars that I shipped out here and I was going to sell them before the winter. Went somewhat according to plan, but part of it didn't go according to plan. And I still have two left. We still have my F8 Spider, which is probably, these are the two cars I wanted to get rid of the most because when they sit around, they cost the most money. This one cost me like $9,000 a month, of which about $5,000 is principal and $4,000 is interest. So every month I stare at this, that sucks. This one doesn't cost me as much. This is about $4,500 a month, and it's like I've just got a ton of equity in this car. I think I owe maybe 40 grand on this thing. So this I want to free up cash. This one I want to stop the burn rate, and I want to get rid of it. I'm probably now, after they've been here forever, I mean, in the winter, it didn't make any sense to ship them back. But now that winter is over, it's going to make sense to probably ship them back and at least throw them back in the rental fleet until we can figure out how they sell and what they sell for. The other cars that I sold, I got rid of the R8, I got rid of the Aston Martin, and then I got rid of the, R8 Aston Martin and the Ferrari 488 Spider. It actually isn't a terrible thing that I'm still sitting on these two cars because there's a really big deal happening and a big shift in the car market akin to the COVID bubble, right? You now have politics playing a role in everyday lives with the tariffs. And now the tariffs are going to raise the price, bringing all these European and German and other outside agencies, outside car companies. They're all going to raise the price of cars. And when the price of cars go up, the price of used cars go up. So having cars that already have the tariffs paid, and think about it, and I don't know, and don't quote me on this, but if you were applying tariffs to Italian cars, like 25%, that's a big deal. That's like 25% as far as a tariff goes. It may not all get passed on to a customer, but Ferrari and Lamborghini, they're public companies. They don't want to deal with this stuff. They're just going to pass it on to the customer. And now a new Lambo or a new Ferrari is going to be even more expensive, which means the used ones get more expensive. So it's not a terrible time to own a lot of assets and own a lot of cars. And I think sitting on these things and not fire selling them, I got so many people that wanted to buy this Lambo, but they either, when I say couldn't afford it, they couldn't afford the down payment, or they had good credit, couldn't afford the down payment, and because I'm not financing it, or they were offering lowball numbers. So the people willing to pay closer to what it was worth, the 190 or the 185, those people didn't have the ability to put down the down payment and the credit, which means they probably shouldn't have been shopping for the car to begin with. And then the people that are like cash buyer, even then, one of my pet peeves in the car world is when people are like cash buyer. I'm like, all right, fine, we'll do the deal. All right, let me call my bank, and I'm like, well, you're not a cash buyer if you got to go take a loan out and everything like that. And it still takes 2 weeks to sell. They just use that as a sales tactic to like negotiate harder. But the whole thing is the deal should be done in a day. But are we going to have to rewind the whole deal because cash buyer guy now has to go get a loan on the car? So a little bit frustrating. But this one, most of the cash buyers are at like 150. That's not enough. 150, 160 is way too low for a Lamborghini convertible, especially a Huracan Spider. This one does have a couple of miles on it. It's like 44,000 miles, but there's no way you're going to be getting your seat, your ass in a seat like this for less than probably 170 or 175,000. And they'd always do the same thing, like, oh, check it out, here's a salvage title car with 80,000 miles on it for 160. I'm like, great, this isn't a salvage title. I'm not selling it to you for 160. You're showing me a car with more miles that's 4 years older, it was like a 2015 salvage title car, and trying to do it as a comparable just because it says 40,000 miles on it. This one's a different story, the F8, because it's a low mile car bought specifically for one person. It was never really a in-fleet rental, so I had one guy rented it for 6 months, and then it went out to the to here to be sold, and it went to the one guy who drove it on the little rally. So this was a much easier car to sell, much lower mileage. This is, I think, 8,000 miles on it, and should be more predictable. But I also can't sell it for $335. This is one of those that I actually had. I took a deal on this. I sold it, and it ran through auction, but we had to undo the deal because of the way it worked with the financing company. I would have had to lay out the $320,000 or something that I owed on it at the time, and I didn't have a spare $300,000 to float for the week or 2 weeks. So that's why this one's still here. And it's easier to just pay the $10,000 a month and figure out what to do with it later when we have a retail buyer. But that's one of the difficulties I had. But now I think the season, it's warmer in New York, and I think these guys are going to be coming back to me unless, what do we got here? Is that poop? Nope. That's a little bit of damage. I didn't remember that, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, this is the update. The tariffs are actually helping me out because it's now going to make these cars more expensive, and I'll get the numbers I need to get on them. So it's not the worst that they sat around for a little bit. In the winter, they wouldn't have done much in New York anyway, but they would have at least made enough money to offset their carrying costs. So these ended up being boat anchors for the winter. But I hate shipping stuff back and forth across the country for no reason, which is why they just sat out here all winter. But now I expect to have these back probably in the next week or so. It's especially when the weather starts warming up in New York. I don't mind having more cars. At least I can do something with it over there. I can't really do anything with it in Vegas. I don't rent cars in Vegas. I don't like renting cars in Vegas. I don't like the rental market in Vegas. We did it for a couple of years, and just a different clientele. So if you guys want an F8 Spider or a Huracan Spider, now's your time, because I'm still realistic. Like, you give me a real number now, you could take the benefit from the tariffs and the increased costs of vehicles and these things going up in value a little bit over the short term. But understand, I'm going to be honest with you, if those tariffs do go away, that's going to correct the market back in the other direction. So it is a gamble. You could be on the right side of it, but things have been happening so quickly you can easily be on the wrong side of it. Right now I'm on the right side of it, and honestly, you guys could be too. And if those cars are out of your budget, you've always got the Donk over here. Started out in Florida, made its way up to New Jersey, and then you saw how that ended up. I put about too much money into it, probably $10,000 into it. Then Lucky got it. He put some money into it.
Plus shipping. You should really. I think this thing belongs on the Las Vegas Strip. You could probably rent this. It's like that stupid shopping cart.
Yeah.
Like that shopping cart is like, they probably paid 20 grand for this big motorized shopping cart that people ride around in like idiots.
Yeah, I've taken it out. I've done a few shorts on the Strip, but I think it's ready for its new home. And
oh yeah.
You know, I think I purchased it from you for $35. I'll let it go for the same, and I think I've been doing about $6.
Yeah. Between the two of us, we're 20 grand into this pile of shit. But it could be your pile of shit, because, like, you know what? It does turn heads. What would happen if you went on a date and somebody pulled up in that thing?
I would pretend like I didn't live where I
I would not answer the door. All right, well, it's yours if you want it. You can hit me up and I'll put you in touch with Lucky. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Rob Ferretti. If you're interested in either of these cars, shoot me a message. You can use rob@gothamdreamcars.com as an email, or rob@superspeeders.com. I get back to you on both of them. Thank you for watching. See you soon.